As an ex-witch who is now a Christian, I want to tell you about some prayers that you should avoid because they're definitely embedded with witchcraft. The first one is the name it and claim it theology that we see in a lot of churches. We see this coined with a lot of prosperity gospel sort of stuff. And you guys, this so deeply resembles the manifestation culture that you see in the New Age, that is all about using the law of attraction, a manifestation witchcraft technique to attract what you want into your life. It resembles it so closely, and I think that this is just another scheme of the enemy to try and get us to do witchcraft without actually knowing it. Remember that the foundation of witchcraft is built upon the spirit of manipulation. So any sort of you need to say it in order to claim it and have it be so, that is somehow through your own power, through your own manipulation power, is a form of witchcraft. We need to be giving all of the willpower to God, because God is the one who has sovereignty over all of this. And his plan for us is so much better than anything that we could name and claim. Another one that's really important for you to have some deep reflection on and really be honest with yourself about is any sort of passive-aggressive praying when you're dealing with a difficult person or a difficult situation. Like if you're dealing with someone who isn't acting in the way that you want them to, and you are praying to God for God to change them in some way, to do what it is that you want, then that could be a way of you attempting to manipulate the situation in a spiritual sense, because you're trying to kind of convince God in a manipulative, sort of passive-aggressive sort of way to get what you want. But the truth is that God knows the situation. He is a righteous judge. And it's an attempt and a rebellion against God in a way to try and impose your own righteous judgment onto the situation, because God is the righteous judge. And this can also come in another kind of sneaky way if we're dealing with a difficult person who's maybe hurt you in some sort of way, and rather than praying to God to help you forgive that person, you're actually praying for God's wrath or God's judgment to come upon them. This can also be a little passive-aggressive, and your heart posture might not be in the right place. So really check yourself if you're finding yourself doing these sorts of prayers, because it's embedded in the spirit of manipulation, and it's embedded in the spirit of rebellion against God's plan for the situation, which is essentially witchcraft. So just, don't beat yourself up about it too much, but let this video convict you and change the way that you're praying, because if you're doing these things, it's probably not coming from a good place. And there is a way to pray that is so much more in accordance and in submission to God's will for your life. And I promise you that that is so much better than anything that you could come up with on your own, through your own willpower and through your own understanding of the situation. We are called to not lean on our own understanding about these things, but to submit to Jesus and trust in him.